Hi, it's Angie from Tinks, Treasurez, and this week I am back to show you a twist on the Anna Griffin Mirror Easel card. So last week I did a Snow White version of the Mirror Easel card as a Disney mashup, and this week what I want to do is do a kind of a new version of that and making it into a Pulley card. And so I'm gonna go ahead and make this, and I don't know if I say discovered, but came across an easy way to turn your easel dies into a Pulley card. So that's what I'm gonna do here. These are my supplies. I have Anna's dies, and most of my supplies are Anna, and I'll just kind of run through them. Obviously, this is more of a what I want to accomplish with these videos is using up our supplies. We've already invested all of our resources, and now we have all these beautiful supplies. We need to use them. So that is part of my purpose in doing that. So this is a sentiment die, and this came out of the purse set that she had a few years ago. These are some random flowers I have from hers, and this came out of the for her it was a die cut set. And then this is the mirror paper. It is the Anna Griffin Birthday Wishes Luxury Matte Foil cardstock. And then my paper I'm using for the main part is I got this at Hobby Lobby years ago, and it's from Prima. This is the paper that I picked out. So I am going to be using two colors out of that foil cardstock, and these are two. This is out of my stash, and then this is the paper I chose to use. So I haven't made this card yet. A lot of times I'll make up like my demo card, and then I will make up a card to kind of go off of and show you, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough supplies for all of that, so I'm going to do this as we go. I'll edit out all the boring stuff, but I will give you what I do as we go along. So what you're going to do, I'll show you in the demonstration, but we're going to cut these tabs or knees, whatever you want to call them, and we're going to use they're going to be 12 inches long, and they're going to be 3 1/4 inches wide, and we need 2 of them. And then I'll show you or tell you what the score marks are going to be. For the moment, I'm going to cut this paper and get the base started. So I'm just going to trim a piece just so that I'm not wasting any extra paper, and it makes it easier obviously to go through your machine. You'll need your long plates for the first one, and then I think after that you can really just use your shorter plates. So you want your paper face up, your die face down. Okay, now that you have your piece cut out, what we're going to do is we're going to cut on that score line. This part here, I initially just fussy cut around. think I used this as a guide. But I'm going to leave it for now. I may use it for holding embellishment. But then the tab on the bottom, four lines, this is initially how you would attach to the part, the easel part. But we're going to use that. So next we're going to cut this second layer, or actually we'll go ahead and cut the parts that connect it. I tried it first with the smaller one, like the actual Pulley Card set that she just recently came out with, which I got but haven't made yet. But I did try there. She does have a die to cut the tabs, and there's a long one and a short one. And I tried those, and to be honest, I just felt they were too flimsy. It wouldn't work in this particular situation. Maybe it'll work fine in the actual Pulley Card set. But because this is so much bigger than what she had intended in the other set, it needed to be 2 full pieces. So I'm going to cut those pieces, and then we'll score those. So we need 2 pieces that are 12 inches long and 3/4 of an inch wide. You'll want your scoreboard for this. So I went ahead and scored. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll put it on the screen. It's at 1/2 inch by 3/4 of an inch, 6 1/4 of an inch, and then 11 1/2. And then that'll give you a little tab to glue it together. So that'll be your finished piece. You'll want to glue these 2 pieces together. And then that's all you'll need your scoreboard for. And then just set these aside to dry. So here's what we have so far. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the reverse layer to be this background. Dang, it's actually kind of hard to see which way's up. There is writing, but it's not very obvious. I think this is it though. We'll go with that. So I'm using the shadow layer, and you'll end up using this twice. I'm going to cut it for this layer, and then I'm going to cut it for the actual shadow layer of the face dye. I'm going to switch to my smaller plates. And I'm going to line it up. You probably do this, but I'm going to line it up right on the edge so that I'm not wasting. And then you'll have these small scraps for something else later. And this just barely fits. And to be honest, I'm going to cut it at a little bit of an angle just so I get all my little edges on there. It just made it. All my little pieces made it. Okay, so let's start assembling just to see where we are. And then here's where we're going to use our tabs. So we're going to glue them at the bottom and glue them on the back and on the front, but clearly not on the top. So for the moment, I am going to, and you want it so that when it lays down, it's going to fold up. So I'm going to have it in the up position. I'm going to center it, line it up with the crease, and give it a second to dry. And then you can put your glue on the bottom tab. And glue on the face. Now you're going to want to line up this layer so that it's just at the crease, because this is going to pull down. So I'm going to fold it up for the base to connect here. Give it a minute to set up because the glue, it's wet glue. It's the glitter glue. Oh, I've lost the label on both of them, but it's the glitter glue, which has no glitter in it, so I don't know why it's called glitter glue. Okay, so there we have the first layer. And then we can go to the next piece. Same thing, so we want it so that it's pointing up. It's going to be centered here. So you can start by putting glue on the back. Maybe just bring it down just a smidge, because you want it right there on the edge. And then we're going to put glue on the bottom for it to attach to the base, and then some glue here for the next layer. And again, you're going to want to line up this right up to that crease. And then I'm going to fold up. So that it attaches to the base. Now this part I didn't do, which would be like the embellishing, because there's all these dies for the front of the mirror. So let me grab some supplies and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so here's what I've come up with that I think will look nice. I'm going to use the reverse side of the paper that we used for these tabs. And then I'm going to use the leftover scrap piece for a new mirror piece that will lay inside there. And then I believe this oval piece is meant to be like a tray. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see. So I'm gonna use the scrap from this to make like a tray where you would put, you know, perfume bottles or your jewelry or whatever the case. And then I'll have that right here. Initially, I was thinking I would use the sentiment there, but maybe I'll stand up the sentiment or just leave the sentiment here, so that's the first thing they see when they open it will be this, and then they can pull it down to see the rest. In which case I might cut, maybe not. I was thinking I might cut an additional piece to layer on here to cover that up, but I don't know, we'll see. That one's just gonna squeeze out of there. Okay, here's what we have. And I'm gonna put these on foam squares. And I think I mentioned this before. I have, if you keep all your supplies, these are foam squares from an older kit. And they're sticking on here just to kind of show you, but they're really not that sticky anymore. So I'm just gonna glue them down. And now this one can go, like I said, I believe I'm taking it to be the little mirrored tray that you would have in your bathroom. So I'm gonna use some foam squares for those two. And I think I am going to cut a piece. I'm just not sure. It would look better. To have the flowers there. Or maybe a plain piece. I really like the flowers. I'm going to go with the flowers. Okay, so what I'm doing, I was just looking to see about how many flowers I can get in here. Kind of center it. I think that looks good. Okay, we can do some cutting on this because we're not going to need that tab in there. or this one. I'm going to add that here, and then I'm going to go back and trim off that piece because it just didn't cut right the first time. Okay, so that looks much better. Although I have to say, and I don't know, maybe it'll, once it dries a little bit more, I don't like how when I when I added wet glue to the back for the foam dots, you can see it here. Yeah, these aren't even really sticky anymore. Now, if you wanted and you were prepared a little ahead of time, like you knew exactly what was going to go on here, you had your embellishments already, you could probably just do the first layer, have it all finished and embellished, assemble everything, and then make that the last piece that goes on so that you're not fussing with this. And I've done this before. I don't know if anybody else does this, but to help with the mess, like especially these foam square, just keep everything here and then you don't have a mess. And see, this is still wet, so it wants to move. I may just sacrifice the whole sheet of foam squares and get new ones. And also, I don't know if you'll notice when you're cutting these out, there is a top and a bottom. You want this up to be on your top, and this has a little divot. You want that on the bottom. Now there are more pieces that you can use. There's this layer, and then these are the little pieces that go on the sides. And you could use this, she gives you a stopper. And then the base of the mirror. So I may just go ahead and cut a piece out. Okay, I just grabbed this piece of glitter, and it's a rose gold glitter, and I think it'll look nice with this. So I'm going to cut my embellishment pieces out of this. I know this goes here, but I like it better this way because you can see the detail better. So we'll just use that. Just gonna put that right there. I gotta let the glue dry. Now I do have these, and I believe she had something similar in the kit that she sold to go with the dies, but I didn't get that. So they may have been a little bit more size appropriate. I'm gonna use at least these two. And then these are the flowers I have. It came out of an old kit. I don't even know what kit it was, and unfortunately they're not even stickers. But they matched the paper really well. So here's where, like, you know, you could either fussy cut that out or just use it for a place to put some pretty flowers. You could also probably put like say a banner up there. I know she has some that are banners. I'm in the process. I really want to, I asked a Facebook group this, you know, what do you do with all your embellishments? Because I may not have as many as a lot of people who like maybe just buy their kits, but I have 10 kits worth probably. And I've got sentiments, you know, you've got your flourishes, your butterflies, and your birds. And sometimes she has like the little banners. And I want to say with the flower cart kit, there were like some balloons and some flags. And I just have them in their individual, most of them anyway, in their individual kits. And that's just not working for me. So I'm going to look for some type of case that either they, probably what I'm going to do is I want to look for a case that might have like individual storage sections, or maybe that I can put in little containers. I did find one, ironically, I went to Joann's, so this is February 18th, and they're going out of business. Sale started on Saturday, so I'm like, oh, for fear of missing out, my FOMO kicked in. I'm like, oh, I need to go right away. Well, the whole store is on sale, the majority. I didn't see anything about machines, but it was only anywhere from 20%, 20 to 25% was the majority. There were a few things that were 35%. I'm like, well, I could get those prices at Walmart. You know, you always ended up using your coupons or sales at Joann's. So, but anyway, what I'm saying, I did find a case there, and, you know, it might have been 12 by 12, and then it held individual containers, and I believe it said it was for photos, but you could easily use that for embellishments. So I'm going to go back and do that. And for this purpose, I'm not going to cut this off. Gosh, you could even use this up here, couldn't you? So I'm going to go ahead and pick out some flowers to put up here. I was looking for this piece that got buried. Probably want to work on moving it around so that it has find its shape, but it's already standing up perfectly. So I'm very happy with this. I will try to get some inspiration, and I will add a few photos. This is what it looks like from the side. And then fold it up. With my embellishments, it's usually 5 by 8. You could probably get it down to 7.5, but I have all these embellishments sticking up. But if you make your own envelope, you can make it to whatever size you need. In fact, I may do a video next on making a larger envelope, like a box type envelope, out of cardstock using your scoreboard. So all right, there you have it. Until next time, again, please give this a thumbs up. I would like to get this channel going, get some inspiration out there for everybody just to use their supplies and find some joy in the products that they have. Okay, so till next time, thanks. Bye.